Welcome to day 11 of the meditation challenge. Today we're going to practice an intention meditation, which is going to allow us to bring more focused energy to things that we are working towards in our lives. This is really great for any goals that you may have or any things that you want to bring into your life and really just gaining clarity around those. So we'll start off by just getting comfortable. Allow yourself to sit comfortably on a cushion or in a chair, allowing your back to be long, your hands resting in your lap, and then just gently let your eyes close. And we'll start off by just noticing the sitting bones. So you can notice your bottom resting on whatever it's resting on. Notice your feet against the ground. And allow your body to feel heavy and fully supported by whatever you're sitting on. And then bring your awareness to your breath. And take a deep inhale into the nostril, letting the belly expand. And exhale out of your mouth. Another deep inhale just like that. Noticing the chest rise. And as you exhale out of your mouth, notice as your muscles soften. Another deep breath just like that. And exhale out. So now return your breathing back to its normal rhythm. Noticing the sensations of the inhale and the exhale. We're going to take a little bit of time just to settle in. Noticing our breath. And then after your next exhale, I want you to bring to mind something that you are working towards, a goal, an intention, maybe a theme you're trying to make more present in your life. And then as you bring that to mind, we're going to take some time just to notice any thoughts or emotions that come up when we bring that goal or intention to mind. So maybe you feel really enthusiastic about what comes to mind, or maybe you feel like you may be stuck in certain areas. Maybe you notice judgments. Maybe thinking about this goal makes you feel good, or maybe it makes you feel uneasy. Just take a second to notice it. And what we're really going to do is just recognize that while the thoughts and emotions associated with the goal are present, we're going to recognize that we actually aren't them. We aren't the thoughts. So we're just going to let ourselves observe them as they come up. Noticing that we don't have to react to them. We can just be observers. Now that we've allowed the thoughts to be there, we've allowed ourselves to just observe them, we're going to allow ourselves to get curious about alternatives to whatever the habitual reaction was. So let yourself introduce the opposite of what came to mind, or an alternative to what came to mind. We don't want this to be forceful. We're just going to acknowledge that we are capable of considering other thoughts. So with a sense of ease, just allow yourself to introduce the opposite or alternatives to your initial thoughts. The initial thoughts that were associated with the goal that you had, or the intention that you had. And as your mind wanders, you can just come back to being curious about alternatives to the initial thoughts you had associated with your goal or intention. Doing this all with a gentleness. And then I want you to release whatever thoughts came to mind. And we're going to allow ourselves to connect with the feeling of successfully achieving the goal or making great strides with the intention that we set. So you're going to connect with the feeling of major progress. And what you'll notice is your mind will probably start planning the steps, thinking about the details, the logic. We're going to allow all of that to settle for right now. And we're going to just put all of our attention on the feeling of being successful with what we are working towards. And just notice what that feels like. And if it's helpful, you can share with yourself words of encouragement. Consider the things you would say to yourself. As you feel successful at whatever you're working towards. What are some things you would say to yourself? And if this feels uncomfortable, that's totally okay. We're just going to allow ourselves to be curious. To embrace the feeling of achieving what we wanted. And then on your next exhale, let your mind move away from the feeling. Just connect back with your breath as we approach the end of today's practice. And as you inhale your next breath, draw a line from the crown of the head down the spine to the bottom of the back. And then as you inhale your next breath, imagine the breath flowing down the spine. And as you exhale, imagine it flowing back up from the bottom of the back, out of the crown of the head. Inhale to the base of the spine. And exhale out of the crown of the head. Let yourself have a few more breaths just like that. Inhale into the base, exhaling out of the crown. And of course, we're just allowing the mind to imagine that that's where the breath is flowing. And then you can let your breath return back to its normal rhythm. And at your own pace, you can slowly begin to open your eyes and return full awareness back to the space around you. Nice job. So that practice is a really powerful practice because it allows us to really gain more clarity around any thoughts that are associated with goals or intentions we have. Oftentimes what we may notice is that we are the ones that are actually blocking or detracting ourselves from things that we want to work towards, simply because of fears or fear of judgment, insecurities, etc. And all that is totally normal and totally a part of being human. But allowing ourselves to get curious about alternatives can help us move from our initial habitual response to one of more curiosity and really letting our mind imagine other things. So this is something that we can bring into our day-to-day, and hope you really enjoyed today's practice, and looking forward to hearing any feedback, thoughts, comments that you may have. Feel free to leave the comments on the video or the audio, or you can DM us at InnerglowNY. Looking forward to tomorrow's practice. Enjoy the rest of your day.